Hello, YouTube.
Like, subscribe, comment. It's officially the off season.
And we're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere.
Unfortunately.
He doesn't mean it.
You just now started recording, so we didn't get my hilarious joke. What was that? She already clapped.
No, but
But they weren't recording yet.
we're not recording it.
How have you just now figured this out? Your joke about me caring about.
We
the way I
know
was
you're
sitting?
pregnant. Why are you covering yourself up?
I'm more comfortable that way.
No, you're not.
You know, yes, I am actually. You know the like the monkeys on the Discovery Channel that are sitting there and their like titties are out and their bellies out. That's just the way I feel at all times.
Yeah.
So I feel way more comfortable when there's something pressing up against.
Okay.
I'm sitting with a coat on top of me. You're acting like I'm.
So next time you're watching the Discovery Channel or any nature documentary and there is a big monkey/ape slumped over with their titties hanging, just remember she compared herself to that.
That's the way I feel.
I didn't even have to do it. She did it herself.
No, I did it myself. Well, that's because everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, you only look pregnant in your stomach. Like he's just a basketball sitting there." I'm like, "Yeah, but I feel like a monkey with my titties sitting out."
I'd like to narrate one of those nature documentaries.
You'd be so good at that.
I also would like for them to make a series of nature documentaries where I know if I watch, I'm not going to see one animal get killed by another.
Well,
There needs to be that category.
see,
I would like for a non-death nature documentary.
but then you wouldn't be nature.
Yeah, it
you
would.
need the happy one. They're like one of the best ones.
There
I've
are
seen.
days.
You know-
There are days when rabbits and deer can walk out in the woods without getting killed.
You know which one you should watch? It's on Netflix, and I think it's called Wild Babies. We watched it recently. It's all about the babies.
Are you just watching baby stuff now?
No, we like animal babies. It's just all animals. Don't worry. But I don't think any of them die in it.
I watched
And it's all very cute babies.
one of the most unbelievable videos last night I've ever seen.
Nature?
No,
Oh.
it was a beheading of 4 soldiers
What
killed
the
2 other people. It's called the Dagestan Massacre. I was in a
just happened?
YouTube.
What just happened?
I was in a YouTube thing, and then I watched a YouTube video about it. I was like, I gotta watch. It was 17 minutes. It's legitimately the most insane video I've ever
You
seen.
watched 17 minutes of it?
I had to watch the full thing.
What
How
just
is that
happened,
like
Brandon?
still up on YouTube? Wouldn't
It's
that
not
be-
on YouTube. I had to go on a different
Can I
website.
just say something? Can I just interject here? I said that I can't handle watching nature videos where wild animals get killed by other wild animals. Why did you bring in an
Beheading.
actual beheading video?
Well, I thought it was fitting that I watched it last night. It's crazy how human beings can like get to that point.
Yeah,
I do agree with that.
it is
You know,
wild.
I'm fascinated right
And then
now
we just
with
all
the,
play like video games and Call of Duty, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, war's cool.
with the
No, it's
the
bad.
Idaho murders, which
Oh,
I know
it's great.
you obviously are seeing on TikTok. I'm fascinated with all that right now. I have the.
How about that girl that saw him?
That's what I'm
Time.
saying,
Okay.
Jack. Okay, we'll talk about it
I'll
after.
never understand anybody's fascination with murder or murder mysteries or murder documentaries or cold cases or all that. I don't like murder.
You know,
Why you fill your mind with this stuff?
I do agree with you. It doesn't make any sense, and I've always been on your side. I've never listened to like a true crime documentary podcast. You know, the people were really into that for a while. I was like, why are these basic white girls always on top of this shit? This Idaho one, I'm falling into the trap. I don't know why. I'm watching every TikTok I can. I'm watching the 2020. I got to know all the details.
I'll send you a good video.
Oh, please do.
Not the Dagestan thing.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
No, it's
I
like a
don't-
YouTube like breaking down the affidavit.
So back to my original point. Can I get a video with less death? These want more death. I would like
No.
less death.
I'm with you on the nature videos. I don't want to see animals die. I cry way harder in movies when dogs die than when people die. Way harder.
There was like a nature documentary in like 2002, 4, 5, somewhere in there, that showed a bird on the beach meeting its demise, and it scared me. It scarred me off of nature videos for 15 years. And then one day, I just happened to be reading online one of these clickbait articles, and it said, one of these nature producers got in trouble for faking a bird's demise on a, and it was the exact one that. And I found out 15 years later that bird was fine.
So it's a Drew Brees type.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the lightning? Yes.
Yeah.
I thought you meant, well, I was like, he wasn't that good as last year. What are you talking about?
No. The faking of his
What's this show? What's this podcast about?
football.
Oh,
Drew Brees.
let's do that.
Well, I was about to say this is the
Let's
off
circle
season. We jumped right into the off season.
Let's do college football. Hello. Welcome to Unnecessary. Okay, Jack's waving at you. Hello, welcome to Unnecessary Roughness, Barstool's college football podcast, brought to you by High Noon Hard Seltzer. What I'm looking at right now is the variety pack, which is 2 watermelon, 2 black cherry, 2 grapefruit, 2 pineapple. Of course, the tailgate pack is out there. If you like the pear, the cranberry, those are 2 new flavors, newish flavors. I think we're going to be seeing some newish flavors soon. I don't know what they are, never do. But High Noon, whatever they drop, any flavor they drop is always good.
Have you really not heard the rumors?
I've really not heard.
I've heard the rumors.
Write it down.
They are going to be delicious.
I haven't heard the rumors either, and I cannot
I don't have
wait.
a pen.
Well, who's got a pen?
It fell on the floor.
There's one.
Thank you. Katie, I only remember one. I think you remember both, right?
Yeah.
think
So
I
High
know
Noon,
one.
whatever they are, High Noon flavors are all good. Watermelon's good. Pineapple's good.
They're
all
great in the summer, and they're even greater in the winter.
Truly
And
are.
and we are mere weeks away from me being able to have one.
Oh yes,
Weeks.
we will introduce Kayce
I keep
back
this
into
pen
the
in.
High Noon fold.
Look at that. And
I can't even see it. Wait,
It's
what?
not working.
not working.
The pen's not working is what she's
Pen's
trying
not
to show
working.
me. No, throw
And
me that pen in front of you.
As we all have
Behind yours.
phones,
Behind your
I could
laptop.
just text it. That was. You didn't even try.
There you go.
People that are watching the YouTube are really just getting.
Katie just walked into everybody's living room.
Oh, thank you. Okay, look at this. Yeah, I get to drink them soon, and I believe.
Can I just pause for a second?
Oh no.
First of all, High
I
Noon
hate
is
that
delicious.
sound.
the sound of a Sharpie?
High Noon
love the
is
smell.
delicious and wonderful, and I'm finding out Casey's rumored flavors right now. Yes, I would. Yes, both. Yes to both.
This one especially.
Well, this one's not as specific.
Yeah, but see, this one also, like, it has to be very understated, right? It has to be. This one I've been asking for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's not pumpkin, because I've been asking for that. And pickle. It's not
Yeah.
pickle either.
Ugh.
No, first of
Those
all,
are the
nobody in the world wants pickle but you.
That is not true.
You're the
That's
only
not
one that
true.
wants.
Pickleback shots are like the most
Nobody wants a pickle. Nobody wants a pickle drink.
Pickle, that is not true. Picklebacks, well, that would be good, too.
Maybe.
It'd be interesting. I wonder if people would like it.
What
Danny
about-
Jackal of Dirt with Danny. She loves pickles, I think, as much as you do, Kayce.
Everybody,
Oh, I thought you said plain.
Oh.
What about that one?
Yeah.
No, we're never gonna-
Will
Let
Levis's
me see.
girlfriend loves pickles too.
everybody loves pickles.
I was just thinking that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways,
You're gonna want that.
and you're going to want to close the Sharpie. It'll dry out.
I don't give a shit about the Sharpie. We can buy another one.
Anyways, High Noon.
What was I about to ask you before? Oh, yeah. High Noon ad is over now. It was wonderful. It's great. What's your time frame on getting back on the horse to have you a cocktail? Is it 6 weeks?
No, I think you can do it whenever you want.
No, I read
Something with
recently you
breastfeeding or
can't.
something?
Well, you do have
breastfeeding thing.
breastfeeding, but you can pump and dump.
Okay.
I learned that from the league.
Huh?
You can pump and dump.
The League is one of those shows, man.
Oh,
I've never
My
seen
wife
it.
will
Tread
be
so
natural
carefully.
breastfeeding.
I'm gonna breastfeed if I
I
can.
was kidding.
Okay. There's a lot going on.
tread carefully, Brandon. This is a very good TV show.
I have jokes for this one. I have jokes for that one, and then the League is. I didn't like it. You know why?
I've never seen it.
They're all assholes.
Okay.
There's not a likable person on this
Have
show.
you seen White Lotus?
No.
They're all
Succession's-
assholes. They're
Succession's
not
I thought
Like,
that
likable.
was a comedy.
Comedy, but I feel like they can all. People
The
can all
League,
be
they're all
but
assholes.
good
They're all
together.
jerks. They're not.
They're
Who's
funny.
the likable one?
But like, okay, so your favorite comedy's The
Rufus
Office.
or whatever his name is.
Yeah, there's several likable.
Who's really likable in that?
Jim is very likable.
I guess,
They're
yeah,
all
I-
very likable. You see them flawed, and you see them do things that
that's
they
true.
shouldn't
Jim's
do.
a very likable
yeah, you're
guy.
right.
Jim's a
Jim
very
is.
likable guy.
There's not somebody that hates that character. I don't think.
No, Michael's goofy and
love
try
him.
hard, but he's likable.
It's cringy.
See, I mean,
Aaron's likable.
Succession is that way. Succession has not one good person in it, but
But it's a drama.
that's true.
The League made me fall in love with Nick Kroll in football. So it'll always
Nick Kroll
have-
and football.
Yeah.
In that order?
Probably, because I think the first time I watched it, I was just amused by the humor, and then I learned football from
I've
it.
never been in love with Nick Kroll.
I've never seen
Sounds
that
like
show,
a
so
you
maybe I should
problem.
watch it. I don't know.
There's
I
two
like-
people who come in this who will visit this office that I'll ask for
Come in
photos
this
with.
office.
That I've said these two names since day one.
Who
It's
come in the office? Mantis.
Touche.
Shut up, Mantis.
Settle down.
It'll be Nick Kroll and Kid Cudi. Those are the two people I'll ever ask for photos if they come through this office.
That's your list.
Yeah.
What's your list? Of photos when they come to the office.
Well, I took one with Lisa Ann
Yeah.
when she was here. That was the first time I was ever like, okay, I'm gonna stand in line And then she was like, no, the girls can come in first.
Oh, you know what? So we had
That was years ago.
last time we did a podcast. We did the national championship game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I never really told my Nest story.
Your
what?
story?
My Nestler story.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh,
So-
okay. This is a wild
funny.
one.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm in this office a lot, and I see famous people come in here. We see famous people come in here.
Yeah.
It never really affects me that much.
No.
You just see them, you going about your day. you
J
know.
Lo was here, and I don't think it affected
Actors,
people.
baseball athletes, they come in. The only people that fluster me and not frustrate me, but fluster me and get me out of sorts are college football celebrities. People in the world of college football. We have the story of me meeting Herbstreit on the tarmac where I froze up, and
I'm glad you admit that
You
now.
embellished that, but I
do
didn't
not.
really. But I was just being nice.
I
But
do not.
a couple of weeks ago, me and Katie were flying down to Mississippi so I could do the Pizza Hut commercials, and we're in Atlanta, and we're getting ready to get on our flight to GTR, the airport there in Columbus, and I walk up to the gate and I'm looking to see we're about to board.
Can also add that you are the person that the moment it starts boarding, you are the first person up. Like first
Why?
class was boarding, and you were not even in that group. Sorry.
Well,
It was a teeny thing to Mississippi.
I was in first class.
First class Mississippi is just the first row, but you were that person who
Yeah.
boards immediately.
Well, I only do that if I'm sitting in first class. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
He was in row 5. Not first class.
First of all, I was in row 7, and secondly, I'll get on the plane whenever I damn well please get on the plane.
Get on the plane, King.
Secondly, so I'm going up to where they're about to board, and I hear this voice. I'm like, well, I know that voice. It's just a deep, smart, the voice commands the room. And I look in front of me, and it's Brad Nessler, the voice of CBS Sports Football with Gary Danielson, the voice of CBS Sports Basketball, the voice of a lot of things, but it's Brad Nessler. Brad Nessler.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Brad Nessler. And I'm like, I freak out, Jack. I'm like, oh, fuck. In my mind, I know who it is. It's Brad Nessler. And in my mind, I'm thinking CBS announcer, yada, yada, yada. Am I going to do this? Am I going to talk to him? Or whatever. And I tap him on the shoulder and say, excuse me, sir, are you Kevin Harlan? Where'd that name come from? Also a CBS announcer.
Wait, was it a joke that you
No! It came out of my mind.
So the only reason that he admitted that he did that was because in the group text, he's texting us about meeting Brad Nessler.
Yeah.
And I said, if you are an avid college football fan, you know the name Brad Nessler. I would make the argument that from a popularity and a visibility standpoint on the internet, Brandon is much more known than Brad Nessler would be. And then I went and looked it up on Twitter, and Brad Nessler has, less than 10,000 followers. And I get it. If you are a TV person, of course you know that.
You know his voice. You don't know his face.
You wouldn't know his face.
Yeah.
So then I said, I think that Kevin Harlan, in the group text, I was like, I think that Kevin Harlan is way more recognizable than Brad Nessler, and people still wouldn't necessarily know his face. And that's when he decided to admit that he had said Kevin Harlan. He wasn't going to tell us he did that.
Excuse me, are you Kevin Harlan? I don't know how the name. I know how the name came up because I have bad memories of Mississippi State and Kevin Harlan calling a basketball game. So I knew Nessler was going to call a basketball game at Mississippi State, and I accidentally said the name Kevin Harlan. And Nessler,
know who also hates Kevin Harlan?
Who?
I'm pretty sure Frank the Tank hates Kevin Harlan.
Whatever. That's a Frank the Tank thing. But anyway, Ness looks at me and he's like, "Oh no, but that's a good friend of mine. Thank you for comparing me to him." And I was like, "Brad Nessler," and he says, "Yes, Brad Nessler. Good to meet you." And yeah, and I was starstruck the whole time. And he sat I was in 7C, he was in 8C. I heard him talking the whole time. It was just
that part is
Did
mesmerizing.
other people know him?
No.
I was the only one.
He's also missing the point where he skipped back to me and came up and slammed on my leg like a little kid.
I did.
It could have been like John
I went
Cena.
back. I was like,
in.
"Hey, it's Kevin Hart." No, see, I did it again. That's Brad Nessler. That's Brad Nessler. And she knew who it was, but there was a part of her was like,
Would you
she had
recognize
that-
his face?
No, she had that "so the fuck what" look on her face.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very cool, especially because you are one of those people that, every single part of, a TV broadcast you really soak in. You always have. Incredible voice. Like, Vern Lundquist, I think, is way more recognizable than Brad Nessler.
Yeah.
I still think that people like you are in the minority when it comes to knowing exactly what those guys look like and sound like.
I
Unless it's their
was
favorite
absolutely starstruck by being on
fair.
the same plane with Brad. And
Celebrities.
then
I
They're
have
just
some
like
photos.
you.
I snuck sneakily to took as I walked by.
it's a small town, right? Starkville. How many times have we seen 12.
a few times.
We saw him 12
He was
times over the
saying
next
Didn't
couple
ask for
days.
a
That's how I
photo
was.
at any point.
Oh no! I finally
What
cool.
game was he calling?
He was calling Mississippi State Ole Miss basketball, which I was sitting on the front row, and then they were.
You won that game.
We won that game. Yeah.
No. Like you personally won that game.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
How?
meant like
Yeah.
you willed the team.
And then I shot the half court shot. I missed it.
Oh, I was about to say.
Did you get rim?
Huh?
Rim?
First time.
Oh
I
yeah, I
got
forgot
rim.
you came back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't. She only stayed for the free pizza.
Yeah, he told me about it when. Oh, ugh. Very good pizza though. And the melts.
Pizza Hut.
They have these cinnamon rolls.
Oh, I took Katie to Anthony's in West Point, the best
Yeah?
restaurant, the one
How
I should
was
have
it?
taken you to.
It was the roast of Brandon Walker in West Point from him and his mom. It was fantastic.
Yeah, but how was the food? Is what we're
Oh,
asking.
his mom just roasted him the whole time?
Yes.
I love
And it was
that.
like, who
She
the
does
fuck
that.
just
It's
walked
so
in?
great.
I had a cat,
The-
like a
The
pan
video
fried
of you at West
catfish.
Point was cool too. It was funny.
Yeah.
His mom loves to roast.
The coaches.
Yeah.
Jack, we had to. How many takes? 10.
7, 8. Like the first time he walked in, the head coach had a football helmet on. It was just like,
It's just they kept
skin.
dicking around and yeah. Anyway, is college football. I got
Brad Nessler.
6 questions. Brad Nessler, man.
Is he your number one college football voice?
Well, Herbstreit. I think Herbstreit's up there. Gus Johnson's come a long way.
I think-
but they would all make me nerd out. Like if I saw Sean McDonough on the subway, I would freak
he's
out.
so nice,
I would
too.
absolutely freak out.
I feel like Kirk Herbstreit is one of those guys that supersedes just like people would know Kirk Herbstreit walking through the airport.
yeah.
what
People
was
would know Kirk
the
Herbstreit.
story you said when you were working at the airport and Kirk Herbstreit?
So I think I've said that on the
Yeah.
show before. But when I worked at that airport, I worked at National Rent-A-Car.
The Golden Triangle.
I worked at the National Rent-A-Car there. I would wash the cars, and then some days I would work on the desk. But my job on Sundays, or my job some nights, was to look at the reservations the next day and write out the tickets so the person the next day doesn't have to do it. So I would write out, J. Smith, midsize, and all the information, and that way it's written out. So one day I'm writing out, and I get to K. Herbstreit, C. Fowler, and L. Corso, and I was like, well, that ain't. And I wasn't scheduled to work the next day. They were coming in the morning, like 10 o'clock. So me and my buddy Alan and my buddy Phil skipped school that day and went out to the airport and were waiting on them. And when they got off the plane, we just fanboyed out, and we met them. And this was 1999, the day before the Mississippi State played Kentucky on a Thursday. And Fowler and Corso were both dicks, and they just walked right by us, and they treated us like we were less than human. Herbstreit walked up, rented his car. First of all, he shook our hands. I don't think he fist bumped in 1999. Shook our hands, started to leave, and then walked back to us and had a conversation with us. It was awesome. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
So that's 2 times I've met Kirk Herbstreit in an airport.
Yeah, one time you were doing it because you skipped school because you worked at the
How about
National Car
Fowler
Rental.
being an asshole in 1999?
Yeah,
know.
it was just a dick.
And then
yeah.
the next time you flew in on the private plane right next to him and you're still scared to talk to him.
Was it Fowler or Tirico? I think it was Fowler. I'm pretty sure it was Fowler.
From at least the experiences that I've had, I feel like Tirico has always been like a nice person to
Yeah.
Well, that's not everyone's
Well,
experience.
he's got some things.
Yeah, no,
But
yeah.
anyway,
I meant-
whatever.
I know.
In said situations, I was really trying to dance around that, but once I started talking about him, I realized I couldn't take the words back. Anyways,
So we do have a lot of college football topics to hit today.
Yes,
we
we
are
do.
going to talk about college football. I have 6 questions. I'm just going to ask you guys as open-ended discussions.
I like that. I also have a question I'll mix in amongst the questions.
But you have a take to get off.
Yeah, it is a take. Should we talk about that now, or should we do your
You
questions?
can fire off a take, and
Or-
we got some news that we're going to talk about too. But you can fire off a take.
First, I'm gonna fire off a take about HelloFresh.
Really?
Yes,
It's delicious.
because it is delicious, and it will be a delicious thing to talk about before we talk about my delicious take afterwards. HelloFresh. It is the time of year we're coming off the holidays, but everyone's thinking, oh, New Year's resolutions, maybe trying to get a little bit in shape, eat better, even if you're not, maybe trying to not spend as much money. HelloFresh can help you with all of those things, Brandon. All of them.
It can. HelloFresh is wonderful. It's the #1 meal service kit in the United States. What it is, they'll send you a box, and it's going to be prepackaged ingredients. They're all fresh. They're all good. They're all wonderful. They're going to have a little recipe card there. Oh, I make sloppy joes, and I follow this, and in 30 minutes I have delicious, wonderfully made sloppy joes. I just use that for an example, but
They
they
are
have
good.
terrific. They have healthy options. They have gourmet options. They have all the options.
They have the Calorie Smart and Carb Smart recipes. You You can customize every single meal. You can swap out proteins if you want something different. And again, for the 1,000th time we've talked about it, I love it. I pay for it. That's how much I love it, because it's so easy. It comes in pre-portioned packaging, so you don't have to go waste a bunch of money at the store on a bottle of some sort of condiment you're never going to use again. And you don't want to go to the grocery store right now, especially if you're living in areas like we do where it's cold, it's windy. No, just get it sent straight to your door, whether you're an apartment, a house, a doorman building. It will get straight to you, fresh from farm to table. You can choose your menu every week. They also have sweets. They have desserts. They have breakfast. They've got it all. We love it, and we're giving away so many free meals. If you go to HelloFresh.com/Walker21 and use the code Walker21, how many free meals do you think you get, Brandon?
32?
21, but that's 2 portions.
Oh, I was going by the 2 portions. Okay, 21 times 2 is 42.
So, yes.
I was close.
So
I was only off by 20.
You get 21 free meals plus free shipping. And again, each of those meals are 2 portions. So if it's you and another person, or if it's just you and you want the leftovers, or double the meal that day, Walker21, use code Walker21, 21 free meals plus free shipping at HelloFresh.com/Walker21. And I have to say this again, make sure you use both. You can't just use one code or one URL. It is HelloFresh.com/Walker21, code Walker21.
Before we go any further, this camera in this room makes me look like I'm 5'8", 130.
It makes him look so small, doesn't it?
Sit up.
Look how gigantic Katie and Jack are.
Look at the chair I'm sitting in.
Look at the chair that Katie,
It's the fishbowl, too.
Kayce and Jack are sitting in chairs for 2 people, and I'm just,
Yeah, I mean, you could put 3 people in this chair right now.
who picked out the furniture?
Well, we have someone who is paid
Why are there 2
just
of
to
these?
design. We have a studio designer now on payroll.
Yeah, why?
I don't hate the design of the studio.
But why? The lighting looks so much better in here now. Why are the 2 leather chairs not next to each other?
I don't know. Why is there
said
just
that
a
before
rogue
that
blue
wasn't there
chair?
last week. I think someone must have moved it, not move it back.
Before you got in here, we were talking about how Brandon looks incredibly tiny
Yeah.
in comparison to what he normally
If you
looks
told
like.
me that Katie Stats just signed a contract to play for the Knicks, I would believe you.
She's on Liberty.
She's 6'10".
Well,
So, try sitting up. See,
but it's also they have the
This is how I
fishbowl
sit,
effect.
woman.
They have the fishbowl effect going, on
Yeah.
the edges, which I reminded you. You remember how big he looked next to all of us at the Arizona Bowl because
Yeah.
he was on the outside. But the chair is laughably small for you.
All right, so
You do look buffoonishly small.
we're going to talk about the
It's like we're in a
news.
sitcom video or
Yes.
a sitcom series.
So on 3, the new Shannon Terry-led recruiting service, they did something interesting.
By the way,
today.
Shannon Terry just makes a recruiting service, goes to the next one, makes
Yeah.
another one, sells it,
Yeah,
and he's on his 3rd one.
yeah, it's really wild that we keep letting him make these businesses. Why doesn't somebody else beat him to the business? Why don't we keep letting him make
it's
these
Shannon
businesses?
Terry. This is his 3rd one.
I know. He did. What did he do before 24/7?
Rivals.
He did Rivals,
And sold it to somebody.
And then 24/7 sold
to
CBS.
And now he's on 3.
and he'll sell it. And
he'll probably sell it and he'll go somewhere else.
Good for him.
Yeah, no, it's good. He's a sharp guy. But we're going to talk about the On3 rankings. We got some Michigan stuff, some NIL stuff, all kind of little news items here and there before we get to my questions. Fire off your take first.
This is my take. So we are a week and a day removed from the national championship.
Feels like it was 6 weeks ago.
It does feel a very long time ago. I think collectively, as a whole, I'm not pointing out any specific people or this podcast alone, I think we overreacted to how bad TCU was in that game. And here's why. Now, the game itself in a vacuum, horrifically bad. Boring. A lot of people who are college football haters can point to that and say, see, why would I want to watch this product? This was not good. The semifinals were great, whatever. However, I think that as a college football fandom world, we sat and said, did the committee get it right? Should they have even been there? That game was so bad. It should have been Alabama. It should have been Ohio State. It should have been whatever. We all had those takes or even those thoughts in our head. And a week and a day removed, what I look at is they deserve to be there because they beat Michigan. I mean, that you can't help that. And TCU's season, we buried so fast because of how bad they looked against the best college football team in the country, the new dynasty in college football, that now I look back, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, Georgia was just that much better than them. That was a hell of a season for TCU, and they were a really good football team. I think we overreacted.
I think there's a couple of truths in there and a lie. TCU deserved to be there.
Yes.
TCU earned the trip there. TCU should have been in the playoff. TCU should have been in that championship game. Hell, they won the playoff game.
Right.
That's how it works. So they should have been there. They were not a very good team. And everything that they did to get there, boy, they had to have so many things go right for them this year. They had to have quarterbacks get hurt. They had to have this ball bounce this way, this ball bounce this way. And I still have no fucking idea what Jim Harbaugh in Michigan did for a month to come out and put that kind of performance against a TCU team who should not be beating Michigan.
But see, then when you look at that, I feel the same way about what the hell was Ohio State doing, losing to a Michigan team when they almost beat Georgia in the semifinals. And I'm not saying that I'm putting TCU at the level of Georgia. You can't. We saw what happened when they played each other. But I feel like when I walked into this office on Tuesday last week after the game, and Alabama fans are one thing, but it was like, well, this is what you guys wanted. You wanted that championship game. That's what you wanted. I'm like, well, that's because that's what the championship game should have been.
But here's the problem, Kayce.
What is the problem, Brandon?
College football is the only sport that gets judged for blowouts in the championship game.
Which is why I feel like we overreacted to it.
It's the only sport that gets judged as a whole by its championship game. People don't judge the NFL when there's a shitty Super Bowl.
No.
They get sad about it. They don't like it. But that 13-3 Rams-Patriots debacle a couple of years ago, that didn't make people say, oh, the NFL's rigged. The NFL's this. It's terrible. Yada, yada, yada. No. It just you accepted the fact that year's Super Bowl wasn't very good. But college football, when they have a stinker in the football title game, oh, my God, this sport's broken. No, it ain't broken. In fact, it's the opposite of broken. You saw a TCU team who didn't have the recruits of anybody else. You saw a TCU team who didn't have the talent of Ohio State and Georgia and Alabama. You saw a TCU team go through week by week and earn their way to a championship game. If anything, this season, this run by TCU shows other teams it can be done.
Which is why I feel like we overreacted in the moment to how bad the national championship game was. Because if we believe everything that you just said, which I think we all do, that it came to fruition the way that it should have because of how TCU had their magical run, then we should have looked at that and said, yeah, it was a boring game for a lot of people, unless you're a Georgia fan. It was not fun to watch. The players were eating chicken at halftime. However, that we shouldn't bury the national championship game because this is the way it should have played out, and the game just didn't give us what we hoped that the semifinals would have.
Well, I will tell you all day long TCU deserved to be there, but I will stop short of saying TCU was a very good team. I just think TCU is one of those weird things in sports that just happened, and I don't know how repeatable it is. We'll see, but I'm never going to shit on TCU playing in that game. I am going to shit on the fact that TCU playing in that game probably robbed us of a better title game, but that's on everybody else, and it ain't on them.
And I think you tweeted it. I don't know which NFL game it was that you tweeted it during, but you said, "Oh, you know it was
the Jags."
Yeah, you joked around. Which obviously became an unbelievable game. But you were like, "Oh, we need to talk to the NFL committee. They got it wrong, or whatever it was." And that's why. And we have to instant react to games like that. We always will, if they're the best games ever, if they're the worst games ever. But you are so right when you say that we judge the championship game, but we do that too. As people who live and breathe college football, we did the exact same thing. And a week later, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, the game sucked.
But we do it. We do it differently. We judge it separately from the season. We judge it separately. We judge it as a standalone thing.
Not as a whole sport.
Whereas casuals and outsiders will judge it and say, because the championship game was bad, the whole sport is bad. That's false.
Dumb. Jack had some pretty good petty tweets about that too.
Well, Jack's a pretty good petty guy.
No, yeah, there were some people that was tweeting it as, like you said, I think that was a really great soundbite and then really good take, because this is a great discussion, that they took that game. It's the only college football game they watch, outside of maybe highlights on Twitter on a Saturday, and they say the sport stinks. First of all, it's football. Second of all, if it sucks, why do so many people watch it? And then third of all, we're only 2 years removed from everyone saying Alabama and Clemson would be in the national championship every year.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's just Alabama, Clemson, and then maybe Ohio State if they sneak in. Like, Georgia, no one thought about Georgia casuals, I'm saying, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, well, they did make it to the championship 5 years ago. Well,
But
let me say a decade ago.
Yeah, but casuals still probably don't even know that.
Yeah, so, I mean, it doesn't really matter. And it's also like, why? And I saw tweets like that from a lot of people. And then I thought to myself, why am I getting mad about something that I enjoy, a lot of people enjoy, and this person doesn't enjoy? Does it really matter? No. It's like, that person doesn't like it, whatever. He probably, or she probably likes things that I don't like. Yeah. But I was mad at myself for getting mad at it. It's
almost like, let's say, I'm going to use a horse racing example. When Secretariat won by 41 lengths, nobody said this sport is broken. They said, "Oh my God, what a fast horse." I feel like that's the same for Georgia. That's a fast-ass horse. And instead of saying this sport is broken, maybe just sit back and admire the race that Georgia just ran.
I completely agree. And I had a tweet that, and I know, Jack, you put it on ours too. Like, I had it on Saturday, and then we reposted it on Monday saying, hey, I don't know why the college football national championship is on Monday. I hate it. I wish it was on Saturday. Tons of engagement. But then after the fact, people are like, well, this is why we don't want it on Saturday nights. Like, why would we want to sit up on a Saturday night? And it's like, I get what you're saying, but no other sport deals with this. Like, it's college football fans watch college football on Saturday. Whether it's a blowout or not, we are going to sit there and watch it. But it was almost like people were excited that the game was so boring so they could make fun of the sport. And it's like, why? Why are we doing that?
Feels like we have this discussion every year.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like whatever. It's like, like I said about Alabama, we just saw a team that no one saw, like people saw coming that really observed the sport like us, but that Alabama, and just had one of their, like, they won back-to-back, and then you hear about, like, oh, man, like, our dynasty is good for sports. It's like, it's so great when the Warriors swept the Cavs and stuff. It's like, is that fun? I don't know. I guess it is.
One thing I want to nip in the bud before we get started, and I said I'd never say it, and I accidentally said it, and then you said it, and then you said it. The term casual, or calling somebody a casual, saying casuals.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I have texted the guy. I have DM'd him. I've said, Josh, the fact that you introduced the term casual into this world, fuck you forever. Because
was he the one that did it?
Yeah, he was the one that did it. Josh Pate did it, and I can say, I texted him. I was like, Josh, the thing is, I can say the most well thought out, incredible statement ever that turns out to be 100% true. I can say the most educated college football take ever, and 3 people with 0 followers are going to follow up and say casual.
So
fuck you, Pate.
This is why. This is where MMA helps me. The term casual in the MMA world has been used forever. So like people get called, like it's almost it's gotten past the point of being a real insult to it's like a meme insult. But it's interesting that it's now the dichotomy of it. That term is now in the college football world.
But I do think like casual fan has been a thing forever. I mean, it's like because a casual fan of a sport.
You know who loves casual fans?
Who?
Advertisers and TV networks.
Yeah,
those are the ones that that's where you make money.
And so, yes, it's like casuals is used as an insult now, but casual fans, we have the argument every year. It's like, if I would love casual fans to watch more of college football because that means the sport's doing well. It's just like bandwagon fans, t-shirt fans, I'm all for it. If you're a t-shirt fan of my school, that means that my school's doing something right because you want to be a part of it. That's what I feel about casual fans. Like I would love now until casual fans have dumb takes like college football stinks because one game was bad.
All right, now I'm gonna hit some news items here. All right, news. Number one is today On3, the new recruiting service, very quickly has carved out a niche for themselves. But again, Shannon Terry knows what he's doing and is a very respected name in the industry. On3 released its, I guess, updated recruit rankings.
Yes.
I find that very interesting that you're updating your recruiting rankings 3 weeks after signing day, because I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. Cormani McClain, who committed to Miami, has since visited Colorado, has not signed with anybody. He was the number 2 recruit in the class on signing day 3 weeks ago. Today, with the update, he's number 46. Malachi Nelson was the number 3 recruit on signing day when he signed with USC. Today, in the new update, he's the number 31 recruit in the country. Nico Iamaleava. I'm going to get it right by the time he plays. Nico Iamaleava. Nico from Tennessee I don't remember what his ranking was a couple of weeks ago when he signed with Tennessee, but I will say it was like 5, 6, 7, or 8, maybe somewhere in there. He's now the number 1 recruit in the country. Arch Manning is now number 3, I believe. So my only question is this, Jack. You and I have gone back and forth on these recruit rankings forever. I'm going to use Cormani McClain as an example. Cormani McClain was the number 2 recruit in the country. Today he's number 46. Signing day was in December, a month after any of these high school players had played a game. They have not played a game since signing day.
Correct.
They have not played a game. They've not done anything. They've not put anything on film. How does a guy go from the number 2 recruit to number 46 without any playing time?
Okay, so he was number 2 on the consensus. I'm trying, as you were talking, I was trying to get like the last rankings on my phone, but they did drop. Like Malachi dropped.
Yeah.
Cormani this is on. So what you'll do is when you go on these websites, the first thing they take you to, and I think this is good across the industry, they have consensus, which is Rivals, ESPN on 3.
24/7.
And 24/7, which, by the way, we should have a conversation about ESPN. I think they don't put any money into their
ESPN
recruiting,
off, yes.
but they are still in that consensus. And then the next tab is the services rankings.
Yeah.
Now, that's where the discussion today is. Nico Iamaleava is now the number 1.
Right.
Cormani was probably like 15 and then dropped to
46.
Now, why it happens on this date is they have national signing. So these kids play games up.
Cormani, by the way, three days ago, I saw an article
Yeah.
about him when he was visiting Colorado.
Yeah.
On 3 itself said 5-star plus Cormani McClain visits Colorado. Today he's a 4-star on 3 plus. What the fuck happened in those 3 days?
Okay, no. So they haven't really. This is probably their first ranking since November or October. And they don't have, because these services also cover the season,
Yeah.
and then they cover coaches, whatnot, transfer portal. They don't have enough time to update the rankings. So after National Signing Day goes by, then they all come together and they release their final rankings. Bryce Young on 24/7 Sports was like 50th in his class until the final rankings, and then he was the number 1.
So Nico is now the number 1. Okay.
Across the board, except
Nico,
1 or 2 across the board, except for ESPN where he's 43rd.
Nico signed with Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay. Nico, the entire process was behind Arch Manning. The entire process was behind Malachi Nelson. He signs with Tennessee. Poof. He's the number 1 recruit in the country. 2 months after playing a game. Now, Jack, I want you to look me in the eye and tell me that you don't think gigantic fan bases and appealing to gigantic fan bases plays a role in this at all.
And Brandon, you can tell that as soon as you brought that up, that smirk that was on his face.
No, I wanted to let him finish because I didn't want to interrupt.
This is not a slight at Nico. I'm sure Nico's incredible.
No,
Nico's a consensus top 5
Get that
guy.
in there so Big T doesn't come.
But how do you go without playing games?
No, he did play games.
These dick around All-Star games?
No, he played games in October, November, December. They didn't update during those times. And also, what happened to the storyline that the only reason Arch Manning's number 1 is because of his last name? These recruiting services don't do any work. And now he's 2. What does that mean for that narrative?
Well, he's still very, very, very high.
He's still 2,
remarkably
but
high,
it's like he wouldn't be that without his last
Why
name.
are you changing your voice for that?
Because that's what people said. Like, Jack McCarthy said it. He's like, I think Jake Malasek said it. He's like, I don't think Arch Manning would be number 1 if it wasn't for his last name.
I want to make clear, I don't know who's better. Nico, Malachi, Arch. I don't know who's better. What I'm going to do is use the next 4 to 5 years to find out. That's what I'm going to
Yeah.
Agree.
So I don't think anybody else knows either. I just think January reshuffling of the deck 3 weeks after signing day is a little weird.
I agree with you.
No, it's not.
But
All
also-
24/7 Sports hasn't updated their final rankings either.
But Brandon, I also will say that I think that you and I come from the same spot of we want to see how these guys translate on the field. So anything that looks a little bit fishy in recruiting, we're going to use that to our advantage.
Now, also, their on 3 is disagreeing on a lot of these quarterbacks compared to the industry. Specifically, Dante Moore. They have 20th. 24/7 Sports has him 3rd. ESPN has him 3rd. Rivals has him 4th among all recruits. And then Malachi's one of their bigger one too.
Yeah.
Malachi, they have
I think he's 31st.
31st, and I'm trying to find his...
There's just too many numbers to pay attention to.
Well,
too many.
here's the thing. Nico has potential to be an incredible college quarterback. Malachi does too. Arch Manning probably does too. So any and 24/7, if you go back to the last 20 years, 5-star quarterbacks only hit at about a 50% rate. So some of these guys are going to suck. Some of these guys are going to be great.
And the 5-star quarterbacks right now, Malachi, Arch, Nico, Jackson Arnold,
Oklahoma,
and then I think Jaden Rashada, who should get to his storyline. I think he's a 5-star on some places.
All right, let's talk about that now.
Yeah, that's
Jaden
a good
Rashada.
talk about a
Transition drag.
thing.
Jaden Rashada signed with Florida. Mm-hmm. Signed with Billy Napier, 5-star quarterback, 4-star, high 4-star, 5-star, whatever you want to call him. And then he signed and the fact that
I know.
the fact that national letter of intent is NLI.
Yes.
We got to figure out another way to abbreviate that. Anyway, signs the letter of intent, and then a couple of weeks later, turns out, well, he's not enrolled. He doesn't seem to be going to Florida. Maybe the money has fallen apart. Maybe Billy Napier didn't come through. Maybe somebody at Florida didn't come through. Jaden Rashada, as of right now, is not at Florida, correct?
No. So, all right. So the storyline there was, just so we give a total overall look at him, he's ranked 29th on 24/7 Sports. 24/7 Sports is the only place that has him a 5-star. The others have him as 4-star. Still a pretty good quarterback.
Right.
You're happy. Your flashlight's on.
Thank you.
Old.
He committed to Miami back in, I think, August. And
Right.
there was a lot of storylines because he decommitted from Florida, went to Miami, then the head of the NIL at Miami was tweeting about it. They said he stole him. They said Jaden Rashada has signed a big, NIL deal. And this was right after Nico signed. Then he flips to Florida, and apparently, and this is reported in The Athletic, Jaden Rashada was given a $14 million NIL deal, and then when it came down to it, the NIL collective at Florida was like, we only have $4 million for you. And then he said, all right, I want out of my NLI. I don't know if it's been granted yet because his father said that's not true, but I think it's looking like he won't be at Florida. But then for Jaden Rashada, all the NIL money's gone.
I got to say something.
Say it.
It is great players are getting paid now. It is great players are making a little bit closer to their worth. It is great. All these things are great. If you are a college collective and you even think about giving $14 million to a high school player just based on what dorky-ass recruiting reporters think, you're fucking idiots. I'm sorry.
I agree.
Because again,
I don't know if they're all
But
dorky.
how about even if they're not an idiot, you want to recruit because you think he's good, but you see everyone else paying him. How do you match that arms race? Even if you don't like
difficult.
it, you have
it's
to do
difficult.
it.
Are you just agreeing with everybody?
No. I was going to say that's also a good point because you don't want to be the poors that can't go out and get the best recruits.
Also, you do your own recruiting.
What do you mean? What?
Like they have recruiting staff members.
Yeah, okay. All I'm saying is, again, 5-star recruits do not hit at a very high. That's like 50%. It really is. If you look at the top 10 quarterback recruits of any year of the last 10 years, you're going to see 3 or 4 names. You're like, oh, that guy did awesome. You're going to see 3 or 4 like, who the fuck is
Hunter
that?
Johnson.
I don't agree with the point of that. They're
Blake
paying them.
Barnett. Blake, what was his name for Alabama? Blake Barnett.
Blake Barnett.
I don't agree with the point that they're only paying them because of the recruiting. I think it's just ridiculous to pay a high school senior $14 million when you don't know if they can translate to the college football level.
Goes throughout.
That's where I think
it goes
it's
throughout the time that you're at the school. So you have to be there for like 3 to 4 years, and you have to.
But
what if you stink?
These collectives are not the New York Yankees. They don't have endless money, right?
Yeah, I've already heard, like, even the top ones, they sometimes are looking around like, wait.
Yeah.
But it's like, so what if they pay a guy $14 million and then he comes and he's not anywhere near what we thought he was going to be? You have to pay that shit out?
It's like.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's why
what happens when like the Cowboys signs or Jets sign somebody and he sucks.
That's why I think that it's dumb to pay guys until you know that they are that guy in college.
Some teams, like Michigan, who we'll get to in a minute, are kind of using NIL to reward the players they got now, right? And some teams are, and I guess probably every team is doing it to a certain extent, but some teams are saying, you're in high school, we'll give you $3 million to come here. I don't know how sustainable that is in the very long run for the schools that don't have the deepest of deep pockets. Can Alabama do it? Yeah. Can Texas do it? Yeah.
Ohio State couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I don't think Florida can do it.
I think it's
You got to hit. If you're going to pay that much money, you better hit. If you don't, you are FUCT fucked.
the first time. I think we're probably gonna.
FUCT?
Yeah. Whatever.
Like the southern version. I think it's probably gonna take three times for one of those top recruits to just be a total bust. First one will be anomaly. Second, okay, wary. After 3, I think the market's going to reset. And then it's going to be more towards players staying.
Let's use a couple names. When he came out of high school, Tate Martell in today's standards would get millions of dollars.
Yes.
And he never started a meaningful game.
Don't get Jack and I started on Tate Martell.
No, I'm just saying that there's just names out there.
No, but you're absolutely right because he had everything that
he would have been like an NIL dream.
He's an NIL dream. He had
Who was
QB1. Nick Starkel.
Nick Starkel was asked.
Nick Starkel was asked, my dude. Yeah, which he wasn't necessarily completely wrong.
Nick Starkel had a better career than Tate Martell.
Right, but for sure. And I'm not saying that Nick Starkel was a bad quarterback, but the situation that Tate Martell was talking about was what was happening at A&M, and obviously Nick Starkel did not stay at A&M. Tate Martell is the epitome of the guy that would get all the social media endorsements. He would get everything. He was supposed to. He's good looking. He's this. He's that. And what's he doing now? Isn't he an Instagram influencer?
It's barely that. His Instagram's fallen off mighty.
But I'm saying, he's the example of that. But the difference, you bring up with the NFL and you bring up guys when they're overpaid, they have to stay there. Who are you putting on?
Yeah.
I'm having him look up something for the next segment.
Okay. I thought you were.
Yeah, I was right.
Love notes.
This bitch don't know what she's talking
love
about.
Love notes.
Can you believe she hasn't had the baby yet?
Yes, that's what he said.
Yes.
You've
spent too much time in the comments, haven't you?
While we are talking about recruiting, there was a very sad incident in Georgia over the weekend. They had their parade, and Devin Willock, offensive lineman
from New Jersey, from New Milford, New Jersey. Yeah.
Unfortunately, got into a car crash late at night with
one of their recruiting
staff. Her name was Chandler LaCroix. Both, she was I think she just graduated, and she was working on the young recruiting staff, and
very
both
sad.
of them passed away. And just awful. And he, from all the videos we saw on the internet, we quote tweeted a few. He seemed a great guy, very energetic and whatnot. And Kirby said the same thing in a statement about Chandler LaCroix, that she was very similar, very energetic, brought a great atmosphere to the facility. And it's just awful.
The picture that really got me was, and Kirby tweeted it, I believe that was his son that was on his shoulders after the national championship game. Did you see that?
What, that was Kirby's son on
I thought
Willock's?
it was Kirby's son on Willock's shoulders.
Yeah. Listen, we do a show, and we mostly joke about college football, and we do goofy stuff, but when something like this happens, it's just tragic.
No, it was just...
Not much you can say.
I assume that's Kirby's son.
Well, I'm looking at him. That's definitely Kirby Smart's son.
Yes.
No, yeah, and...
There's also a photo.
He tweeted it and said, "Miss you already. Thinking of you tonight, Devin." And it's just,
it's how does that? It's just so sad.
There was also a tweet that went around from the night before. I think it was a Texas Roadhouse. A mom of another kid was like, "Thank you for taking the time to meet him." To say, I think it was a signed jersey. He's you made his night.
And they gave him his ring from last year.
That ring was huge.
The ring was huge, and. Devin Willock was a highly rated recruit, and then also started to play this year. He was young.
I think he played in every game this year.
Yeah, and he was, and you could tell by the response. Obviously the response is massive when anything happens like this, but sometimes you hear more stories, and this guy, and Chandler too. It's just, how do you even, what do you even say?
Not much you can really say.
Very, very sad. Thoughts and prayers.
Jim Harbaugh is officially back at Michigan.
Man of his word, right? Am I right?
Yeah, whatever. We're going to do this every year?
Yes.
We're going to do this every year. He ain't that good.
Here's a question for you.
He ain't that good.
Especially for the NFL.
Yeah.
Do you blame, but you don't blame him for entertaining it, do you?
I blame him for entertaining it last year because he got very close and he ran off coaches last year.
Right, but when you say, are we going to do this every year, you're saying from the NFL side or from his side?
Because that coach he ran off may not be very
That's
good.
true. Yeah, he might stink.
He might have just used that. As
Josh
Gaddis really struggled.
He may. That may have just been
addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
Or maybe Jim Harbaugh was like, hey, you know what? If I talk to the Vikings, maybe he'll
leave. He was Josh Gaddis is one of those guys, and we'll get to Garrett Riley. Yeah. What?
You ever been at a bar and you sit down and talk to the guy and just be like, hey, I'm just sitting talking to you so this other guy will get the hint?
Yes.
That's what Jim Harbaugh did with the Vikings.
1,000%.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold on to your arm, or can you pretend to be my boyfriend for a second?
Yeah.
Josh Gaddis was the type of guy when he came in, it was he's gonna revolutionize this team.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
He was the answer to everybody's problems, right? He clearly wasn't.
The answer to Michigan's problems was, it turns out, what's his name leaving? Don Brown, the defensive coordinator. But Gaddis
was the savior or supposed to be the stadium.
So,
but I think we are going to do it every year. And from Jim Harbaugh's side of things, why would he not? If the NFL is flirting with him every year, why not flirt back? See how much you can get that college contract up.
I guess.
You're telling me.
No,
that
you're right. You're right. You're fundamentally right.
If hypothetically there was another company that was coming after you.
Oh, they're all trying.
And they were going to offer you a lot more money. And you were like, what? I'm not going to talk to you.
I turned down a $2 million contract because they wouldn't take Katie.
What if Michigan? What if Michigan is in on it? What if Michigan, like behind the scenes, the president, AD, they're like, go talk to them, build up the hype, because then they can advertise to their kids, to the recruits, be like,
I don't hate that.
Every NFL
I don't hate it,
team
but
needs
the only flaw in
that
that is the AD didn't even know he was coming back. The AD found out on Twitter.
Yeah, from
the president.
by the way,
I saw.
Harbaugh went straight to the president. Yeah,
it's great. Santa Ono. He's the president of Michigan. What a great name. But then you can use that. I think schools use that as counter recruiting. It's like, oh, you want to go play for a guy that's going to leave? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, and you kind of see it this year. Michigan's class ranks 20th.
Fair.
Like, and maybe.
But they're bringing back everybody on the team.
Oh, they'll be fine. But also, Florida State had a tough class too. 19th.
Again, past fifth, I don't really.
I care.
I think the number 6 and the number 20 class are a lot closer than you think.
That is true. It's like the number 6 team in the country.
The number
20 team in the country.
the gap between 1 and 6 is greater than the gap between 6 and 25. I really believe that. Because 1 and 2 and 3, where Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State live, that's okay. That's basically NFL free agency every year.
Not A&M.
Well, no, because they don't keep them.
And A&M fell 13th this year.
I would rather be 13th than first at this point.
I almost really believe 13th for them might be better.
Thank you.
Because losing half of the number 1 class, if they re-rank those classes now, they're not number 1.
Absolutely not. And I would rather.
I don't know how many 5-star you got for 7 5-stars last year.
Yes.
How many you still got? I know you lost 1 to Ole Miss. I know you lost.
I think there's 4.
Still 4 left. That's better than I thought you did.
There's 4. But recruiting rankings is not something that I'm super paying attention to ever, and I am definitely not anymore because I sat in this room in a different setting all season and talked about that number 1 recruiting class, and it bit me in the ass.
Oh shit, this is nice.
Isn't it?
I didn't even think about this.
Oh yeah, been doing it earlier. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Katie's long legs can probably reach that.
No. There you go. No, she
Harbaugh or Michigan.
Her legs are like a fucking highway. Her legs are 19 feet long on that camera.
Michigan clear national title contender next year, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Blake Corum coming back.
JJ.
Speaking of, there it is. Is that what we're getting to? Okay, go ahead.
I think whoever talked Blake Corum into coming back should be arrested. I think whoever talked Blake Corum into coming back should do prison time. I don't know if it's their NIL saying, hey, we'll give you this money. You should go fuck yourself. Let that man go to the NFL. Let him go get his money.
He's allowed to leave.
He can leave, Brandon.
No, but somebody talked him into staying.
Brandon, and you know what? You just said it. Somebody promised him money. Which
why on earth would you ever coerce a running back into staying? Why on earth, if you're a running back careers are the shortest careers in the league. Get there and fucking play football. What are you doing? There's only so much tread on a tire for a running back.
I agree with you.
And Donovan Edwards has got to be sitting there like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's probably
if I'm Donovan Edwards, I'm like, no, good. They're not going to run me into the ground.
Yeah, they're going to share the carries.
What about the freshman behind him?
Well,
he's got to be like, what the fuck?
If you want to talk about, we were going to talk about quarterbacks, but if you want to talk about running backs, there's 3 unbelievable duos in the Big Ten. You have
Travion and Myron.
Travion Henderson, and then Mike
Myron.
And
Mayan Williams.
And then on Penn State, you have Nicholas Singleton and Trevion Allen. And then on this team, you have Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum. Those 3 duos are elite. And you'll get to see it next year all in the Big Ten. Very interesting, old school.
And you also don't blame Braylon Allen back at Wisconsin.
I don't blame whoever coerced him to stay because they want him to stay so Michigan can be that much better. I
just don't think a running back matters.
But,
tell it to Michigan State.
Yeah, they're a good example.
Well, Michigan State was TCU last year, except they couldn't win the big game.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Like, You are right. Kenneth Walker is probably go down as one of the last like incredibly valuable running backs.
And he was underrated at how valuable he truly was.
Yeah, he finished sixth in the Heisman. He should have finished top 3.
We know how good he is now. But I feel like we started talking about it as soon as NIL deal stuff started coming up. These guys are going to stay in college longer if they know they can make a lot of money at that school. And it's like, I don't know if he has an agent or if he spoke to an agent or whatever.
Did you see they did that 1 more year fund at Michigan, which is what Florida State did. They raised $100,000. The fans did for.
That's not a lot of money.
But I think it's very smart.
4 players.
It's very smart.
You're giving it to guys who have earned it for your team.
And I think that was probably, I'm sure the real NIL collective actually gave them a little bit more. But those guys, it's like, I'm sure they value that a little bit more. It's like, there's fans, there was around 1,000 fans who gave that much money. They all value you as a top player. That's my phone.
Just wanted to see the clock.
Oh, my bad.
Jesus.
And Florida State's doing it too, and I'm sure we'll see it more. And I'm sure those players like $25,000. $25,000 from actual fans.
Yeah. That's
it's
incredible.
Like it almost means more. It's like, oh, okay, very cool.
I don't mean to downplay that the fans did it, because I do think that is very cool. I think that when I saw the number, I was a little bit shocked, because to me, when it was like, oh, the NIL 1 more year thing is keeping them here, I expected to see like rival type money of what like a low contract in the NFL would be
for people, which is a lot of money, but is it?
No, not well,
not
for guys who haven't proven themselves, yes, but for Blake Corum, no.
My last news item before we move on to my questions. Arch Manning, for the second time, has gone viral for losing his student ID at Texas. Guy can't hold on to he can't put a card in his wallet. I'm going to trust him to hold on to the ball in crunch time against Oklahoma.
Brandon, are you telling me you never lost your student ID?
I'm telling you, I am telling you that I never lost my
mine.
ID.
Oh, I lost mine.
You put it in your wallet and go.
That is the interesting part about his
I
situation. Why is it interesting in your wallet, bro? Like, why are you losing your full? Man, I mean,
there are 2 things you can do with student ID. Mm-hmm. For a man, you put it in your wallet, or you put it in that little thing that's attached to your keys. That little thing.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
That's what most people have it on.
So here's this.
Or on third, you could be a nerd and put it on a lanyard, and I'm sure that's what Katie did.
Nope. Wow, that was mean. This is the way I think about it. Like, I don't know what all that they use them for at Texas. I know that when I was in school, it was like you use them for everything. Like, it had money on it. It had this. And how many times I would take it out, scan it, and like put it in my back pocket, or put it in like the kangaroo pouch of my hoodie. Things happen. Maybe he's not
kangaroo pouch of your hoodie. That's crazy. That's probably what he's doing.
That's what I'm saying.
Hold on, Kayce. It's January 18th. The semester probably hasn't even fucking started yet.
Yeah.
And he's already lost
it.
I can't trust this guy with my offense.
Oh, please.
Also,
I can't trust. He's spoiled. He's entitled.
He's 18
I bet
years
he's got a
old.
butler that carries his ID around his house for him. That's probably what it is. Cooper Manning bought him a butler.
Yeah.
Maybe. I can't
part of
be
his NIL
throwing
deal.
shade. I can't be. I mean, it's very funny because of the memes that come out of it. But people lose their IDs all the time. They just don't have a name like Arch Manning.
If I was a social media manager, I would just say quote tweet that and just be like, my face is an ID.
If I find Arch Manning, if I'm a
good.
Texas student, I find Arch Manning's ID, I'm keeping it. I ain't telling nobody. What if he becomes an NFL great, and then 10 years from now, you just, oh, shit, I got his ID.
Yeah,
ID.
Darren Rovell's going to buy that for you for $100,000.
That's better than a rookie card. I got a student ID.
MJ's student ID, pictures of it pop up and goes viral every single time from UNC.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm sure if you had MJ's student ID, that shit could go for a lot.
Oh, tons.
Ravel has what?
MLK student ID.
Damn.
Got Rosa Parks student ID.
My favorite part about that tweet that's brought up every year is that it only had like 6 likes because he deleted it so fast.
But people got it.
Like, that just shows you how fast the internet works. You can't do it.
All right, now I've got 6 questions.
Before we talk about that, you want to talk about a wallet. You want to talk about a wallet that would never lose your student ID.
Sure.
Ever. If Arch Manning had a Ridge wallet,
yes, he could locate it.
He wouldn't lose that student ID, but we wouldn't get the lovely viral clips we're getting. But if I'm speaking to him, he should get that Ridge wallet, because we know it's our favorite wallet on this podcast. It's the Ultra Slim Minimalist wallet. It holds up to 12 cards. You could have 12 of those bitches in there. 12 student IDs.
12 of those bitches.
12 of those bitches, plus room for cash. As we've said many times, we've looked it up. 30 colors and styles, including your favorite, the burnt titanium.
Don't touch me.
carbon fiber, and it has that RFID blocking technology that protects you from digital pickpocketers. Also, the new key case. Jack has lost his keys.
I bet they don't have space for up to 6 keys.
You better bet your ass they do. 2 to 6. If you have 2, you won't lose them. If you have 6, you won't lose them. It organizes your keys in a compact silhouette, fold out for easy access. There's 6 colors and styles. And also, there's so many different things on the Ridge website. If you go to ridge.com and use the code UR, so ridge.com/UR, use code UR, you get 10% off your order. It's not just wallet.
They have new colors too.
Oh my goodness, look at that.
Oh my God.
Burnt
What's that called? What's it called?
Damascus.
Burnt Damascus.
And there's 3 different colors of burnt Damascus.
So you
or
get
is
it
there...
plain. You can get it with like black engraving.
Oh,
Look at
that's
that. Oh, just Damascus.
Yeah.
The names really hit me. The names are really good.
Well, that's what their copywriters are balling with these names.
Yes,
Yeah.
and didn't we see they have like bundles you can get now?
Yes.
There's some watches on the site. So ridge.com/UR, use code UR. You get 10% off your order. I did give them out as Christmas gifts to a few of the men in my life, and they love them. Katie carries one. She loves it.
Hey, Valentine's Day is coming up.
Valentine's Day is coming
And
up.
ladies,
You all
let's
right,
start
Jack?
getting the guys some like
Yeah, put
gifts
some effort
too.
in,
Yeah,
ladies.
like don't give me a wallet.
Oh, coming
from
from-
Ridge Wallet.
Put some effort in,
The
ladies.
guys that like stop by, not that, I mean, listen, any gift is a gift, but you know, I
Yeah.
love going on, it's not as much in the city because you can buy flowers anywhere, but it's like on Valentine's Day, you like go to the grocery store and you see the guys like trying to pick out like the
Yeah.
slim pickings of flowers.
Yeah.
Get a Ridge wallet.
Get a Ridge wallet. Don't get the slim pickings of flowers of wallets.
Unfortunately, Ridge Wallet has not found a way to turn their wallet into roses on
Yes.
Valentine's Day. But if they do, we'll let you know.
And but think about this, you go and get just, you know, some basic roses and then have like the red Ridge wallet there. I mean, it's
They do have wallets with flowers on them though.
there it is.
It's like a
See?
Hawaiian theme. It's like, yeah, I love it.
I love that one that said what does it say?
Puppies make me happy. Yeah. All right.
Puppies make me happy.
That's Ridge wallet. Where do they go?
Ridge.com/UR, use code UR, 10% off your order.
Ridge.com.
Archmania
Also, by the
Music.
way, that helps us too. So, like, if you love us and you're looking for a gift, it also helps us.
Yes.
Look
Because then Ridge Wallet's like, oh,
Look how big my shoes look in the.
They do look
camera.
very
bigger.
big.
They look bigger than you.
Yeah. Look at that.
I have small feet for my height.
All right, that was fun.
We're all just measuring
I have
our
6
feet.
questions. Are you ready?
I have some, for more news. Garrett Riley to Clemson, OC. They're hiring Outhouse.
Massive money
You know
too.
what?
I think he was probably the number 1.
3-year
I
deal
like it.
at 1.75 per year.
I like it.
That-
I like
Plus
it.
signing.
It's bold. It shows
I like
that Dabo wants to evolve and wants to move on,
Yep.
not just go with Clemson guys. However, it is being treated like Dabo went out and hired this guy and immediately fixed all their problems. And I don't know if that's the case. Garrett Riley has 1 year of eliteness at this level. And
We didn't even know he really existed.
Dabo's offensive success has been predicated on the Jimmies and the Joes, not the X's and the O's before. And right now, I don't think he has the Jimmies and the Joes that he's had.
Oh,
So
no, yeah. Well, he
but we
does have a
don't-
5-star
we don't-
quarterback.
Yeah, I was going to say, we don't know how. I think, you know, Cade, obviously the bowl game did not look good for him. We expected that Orange Bowl to be way better than it was. But I do think that getting a guy, I mean, we saw what happened with Joe Brady at LSU, too. I mean, he really had the 1 year with Joe Burrow that, like, catapulted him.
But guess what? Jimmy's and Joe's. Jamar Chase, Terrace
Yeah.
Marshall, Joe Burrow, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Those guys ain't playing at Clemson right now. Will Shipley
But
ain't
they'll
Clyde
have good
Edwards-Helaire.
recruits.
They'll have decent recruits. They're not getting the super level of recruits they were getting for a time there in the 2017-18 era. But you just can't. You're not going to be able to convince me. Maybe Cade's great, but the average receivers they got right now, and Will Shipley's just not the dude. So I don't see it.
We'll
I know
see.
Will Shipley's dude. He's good.
He's fine.
All right.
He's good, but like I think we have the Bijan Robinson, Blake
Yeah, that's
Corum
true.
to
Yeah.
make like that's
Yeah.
the next level.
He's also living up to
1B.
Travis Etienne, who was the best running
No,
back in the
you're
country
right.
for 4
You're right,
years.
you're right.
He's
I-
great, but
It's
he's
almost
like
like recruiting matters.
too good around him.
Oh boy. Coming back around.
Also-
I like it a lot because if you're a Clemson fan, you should be very excited because it's not Dabo doing the same shit he's always done. And if I was a Clemson fan last year, I would have been furious that he didn't move on to Cade much quicker.
Now-
however, the best thing that came out of this, and I don't know who tweeted it. I can't give credit. The clip that went viral, which is I know one of your favorite moments, when Dabo outruns everybody when they run out of the tunnel, when Garrett Riley got hired, and it said when Dabo finds out what the C in TCU means.
Yeah.
And has him running
I
out.
was going to say,
I die.
is Garrett Riley going to be okay going from a Christian university to an outright cult? 'Cause that's what he's doing.
It made me laugh so hard. It was like an act, like when you say like LOL, you're not actually LOLing most of the time. You know, you're probably just sitting there straight faced. That was an actual laugh out loud moment because Dabo has gone so far over the top with like, you know, the God's name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
The fact that he got him from Texas Christian University is so funny.
Also, Kevin Warren to the Bears. I know it's maybe more NFL.
That's very weird to me.
It probably matters like so much more from a business perspective. I wonder, is that an upgrade, or maybe he doesn't want as much? Maybe he made his money. He's just like,
He also doesn't have to deal with all the
I think
bullshit
it's a lot less
in
stress.
college.
yeah, you don't.
And you have to deal with one organization. You don't have to deal with 14 of them.
And and the Big Ten is like gonna look completely different in a couple years. He doesn't have to deal with the backlash of that.
He helped facilitate
He
that.
did, but if it's a massive failure for whatever reason, he doesn't have to
Also,
answer
that's what
those
CEOs
questions.
do. They'll jump from company to company. Like us at Barstool, we don't really realize that because we've had that same CEO for so long, which is great. But CEOs, like, that's the move. So you don't, if you build something, you don't want to be around when it falls because you're already at the next one. Then you blame it on somebody else.
Yeah, you get the credit for all the roses of like, oh, look at this. Look how we decided to expand the Big Ten and
It's like
add
what
USC
Joe Brady
and
did.
UCLA.
He became the CEO of LSU, and then he left, and now he like is still living off the LSU offense in 2019.
What time? How long have we been doing this podcast?
An hour.
About an hour. All right, y'all ready?
We haven't even said what our off-season plans are, but
Do you want to? You can leave these questions for our next one.
I don't have to, huh? You gonna leave this? This is good.
Okay, let's
I'll
do
come
it.
up with something.
and we're
Y'all
only
ready?
doing one a week for right now. Might as well
Don't-
give the people.
Don't holler at me.
I'm not hollering.
Don't holler at me, woman.
So while we're sitting here saying we're going to be doing one a week.
One a week, and then we have a special bonus YouTube episode planned. We think.
We think.
We
But
have,
right now,
something
there's a
on social.
lot up in the air because obviously there's a child coming, and that's our number one focus.
Thank you, Jack. There's also maybe a move.
that's not my number one focus.
Well, there's also maybe a move coming.
Well, that's
I don't give a shit
later.
about that kid. I'm just gonna be fine.
Yeah, well. There's also maybe a move coming. There's also, there's a lot of things up in the air right now.
You still mad at me for moving to Chicago?
Well, I don't feel like we should have this conversation right here. Because I could also be doing that too. You never know.
You haven't told me that you were.
I haven't told you that I'm not.
I feel like you did.
You also told me you weren't, so.
No, I didn't.
Bullshit.
I said I didn't know.
I'm saying
I said
don't-
I'm definitely moving. I never said I wasn't moving. I just
No, but
I
we
changed
know
where I
about
was
Chicago.
moving to.
That does make a huge difference, don't you think? A little bit of a ripple effect, per se.
Well, you're the one that went out and got pregnant. You didn't ask me about getting pregnant, did you? You didn't
No,
say,
I
"Hey,
did
can
not.
I go out and have sex?"
I
You
did
didn't
not.
ask?
I did not call and ask your permission.
No, touche.
No, you know what? If I have the next time that I could potentially get pregnant, I will run it
Let
past
me know.
you. I will call you and
Hey,
I will
Brandon, I
say,
might get pregnant tonight. No, Kayce, don't do that.
I don't want to ever do this again.
You will forget.
Everyone says that. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
It
That's how
is.
it works?
I know that there's probably
They
a
have
lot of
the kid
people.
in
They'll forget how terrible it is.
And then they're like, I want another one.
Yes, it's,
Yeah, well.
everyone says that.
They'll be, in
I am
a
the
year,
exception.
she'll be tickling the baby's belly. Like, oh, I want another one.
Yeah.
No.
Yes,
no,
you will.
no,
And then it'll be
no,
four. It's
no,
like, I want another
No.
one.
No.
Okay.
All right, you were sitting
No,
here
no,
last
you're
year
gonna
saying
be-
I would never have
You're going to be
a
the
kid.
woman that outdoes 10,000 years
The
of
biology.
womanhood,
No,
yes.
well,
No,
You're going to be the
no.
one that
Our whole
reverses it.
society's based on
No. By the way,
on
just
saying bye biology and everything.
you and your wife are crazy, and anybody like the fact that anybody has kids that outnumber the parents will never make sense to me. I don't want to be outnumbered by kids. Like if you have two parents,
They
two
might
kids,
outnumber me,
fine.
but they don't outrank me. Fuck them kids.
Yeah, but-
I still run things.
But they do outnumber you. Like when they get older, they could overrule
This is how
you.
the West is gonna fall
They could overrule your ass.
because we ain't gonna have any kids.
Yeah, I'm just.
China's population just started decreasing for the first time since the 60s.
Yeah, because they know they gotta
They got to catch up.
catch up. Middle East has more kids than the entire
India's
world.
about to pass them.
What?
India's about to pass
I know.
China.
Oh well,
They
yeah.
haven't already. Nigeria's about to hit the billion mark.
West is falling.
How do you pay attention to this? They are always on the internet. What do you
Because
pay
I'm
attention
smart.
to?
I'm smart.
Anyways,
I'm not like you, Kayce. I don't just go around getting pregnant.
No, Nigeria's
Well, you
a
just get
country
people
that
pregnant.
is booming economically and whatnot. Y'all better watch out for Nigeria. That's what I'm saying. They did just lose all of their UFC championships, though.
damn. So this is what off-season episodes are like, folks. Uh-oh. Bless you.
It was my elbow.
I'm proud of you,
Okay.
but still.
Yeah, no, that was good. That, you know what? Don't shame him. We needed that. It's evolution. What's that?
That doesn't
Question
exist
number
anymore.
1.
Oh, boy.
Pickle up.
Question number 1.
Which conference will be the best conference in America in 2023?
SEC.
Pac-12.
SEC.
Off the top of my head, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, Michael Penix. Those were the first 3 that came to my mind.
Well, those are and several others, yeah.
I'll amend mine to say at least Pac-12 is most interesting. I think it might be too soon to say which might be better.
Cam Rising probably.
Cam
I
Rising.
don't know that we know yet.
Like-
Shador Sanders possibly.
Shador Sanders.
DJ, my
JT
boy
Stroud.
DJ, revenge
At Oregon
season.
State.
JT
yeah.
Stroud just entered the portal for Colorado while we've been recording.
Shadur's the most
Yeah.
interesting quarterback, I think, of all time. Not all time, sorry. I meant in the country next year, because it's like, how good is he?
Oregon could be very, very good. USC could be very, very good again. UCLA, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm not worried about Oregon losing Kyle, what's his face?
Yeah, Dillingham.
OC.
Dillingham.
Yeah.
He's still in the Pac-12 though. That adds
Not
to the-
really. I mean, I
Makes it
feel like
interesting.
Oregon's the type of program that can just keep.
I'm very interested to see if that matters. Like
I just want to see what Bo Nix is able to do.
We've made this bigger conversation. What's more important, good QB or good OC?
I think a good QB can make an average OC better than an average QB can make a good OC. Or that didn't work, but if
I see
know
what
what
you're
you mean.
saying.
what I'm saying is I think quarterback drives the relationship more than OC.
And I would agree. So my first example, which I know is always A&M, look what a year with Johnny Manziel did for Cliff Kingsbury.
Wow.
Now he's off in Thailand.
Thailand or Taiwan?
No,
Thailand.
But think about that. Like, he had the 1 year where A&M's offense was really good. Johnny won the Heisman, and he has gotten head coaching jobs multiple
Do
times.
you think Kingsbury's going to come back with like a beard and look unrecognizable?
No.
Is he going to be that guy?
Well, he has to come back and pretend he's trying to get jobs to get the money from the Cardinals.
Also,
so.
his girlfriend is so hot.
Well, he's a good-looking
Well,
fellow
yeah, I
himself.
mean, of course he is.
NFL took a toll on him, though.
Yeah.
You can see. He also is getting older, but by the end, the bags under his eye, I think he's about all set. It really took a toll on him.
He's down bad right now, but then you see Mrs. Kingsbury. I mean, I know she's not like
he's doing fine. Yeah.
Like, boy,
All right.
good looking.
Which team?
Wait, what's your answer?
Oh wow, you're not.
Um,
He's like, are looking at him at Texas Tech versus now.
Well, the NFL was like a
think
presidency toll.
I think it's
Yeah.
hard to ever say the SEC isn't the best conference in the country. But I think next year you're going to have 2 conferences competing to knock the SEC off. I think the Pac-12 will be one. I just don't know if they're going to have that top line team that you're going to need. Like they're not going to have Ohio State or Michigan, and they're not going to have Georgia. I don't think they might, but I think from 1 through 12 or 1 through whatever it is, Pac-12 is going to be very fucking good. I think Big Ten is going to have a third team join Ohio State, Michigan at the top. I think Penn State's about to pop. I think Penn State's about to join that group. So I think the Big Ten's going to have now they're going to need some, teams 4 through 14 to step up. But I'll say the SEC is going to be the best conference. But I think the Big 12 is going to be back in the rear view, and ACC is going to be in the rear view.
As far as quarterback play, though, I do think that you.
I didn't ask quarterback play, by the way. Did you just read it off because I amended the question.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, then I read it. I
You
must have
read it. Oh, you answered it based on the sheet.
Pac-12, because I said quarterbacks right away.
Right.
Yes, so I must have read
What
it.
I wrote down was which conference will have the best quarterback play in 2023. What I asked was who will be the best conference. So
The
you got to
SEC.
pay attention.
The SEC. I cheated. I read.
She's got to pay attention, Jack.
But the Pac-12 is not a terrible answer either.
No,
But it definitely is the right answer
I do
for
think they will
quarterbacks.
have the best quarterbacks.
You know
Although
what? She would rather be told, like, she told herself that. Like, she'd rather be sneaky and look at it than.
yeah, she's a cheater.
Yeah.
She
No,
cheats.
no.
It's like, oh,
I bet your
Hey, hold on a
teachers.
minute.
I bet you got in trouble.
I had it in my lap.
You never
I
had
was-
this in your lap. You
that-
never
I
had this in your
wrote.
lap.
I wrote the high noon flavors
that's
on it,
actually true.
and I couldn't write. You remember? Look at the pen marks up there. I was literally looking at
And
the
then
question.
Katie walked into the living room of everybody.
If you had to buy stock right now for one team in 2023, who are you buying stock in?
Penn State.
Tennessee.
Florida State.
Interesting.
I love Joe Milton, man.
I do too.
Tennessee, huh?
Yes.
That's a quarterback.
That's a quarterback, man. That's a guy.
We got it. Have you seen this throw?
Y'all talking
God
like
guy?
John Gruden.
You know Throw God on TikTok?
No.
No.
We got to interview him, man. He's so funny. He's like this old school 4-star quarterback, went to Nebraska. He didn't really work out. And he just goes on TikTok and he's called Throw God. I'll send him you'll like
I'll check him out.
He's funny as fuck.
I always know when Jack is tweeting from the main account because he'll throw man in there.
Yeah.
I love that. I know it's Jack's Twitter voice.
Katie, did you say Notre Dame?
Florida State.
Oh, you said Florida State.
Notre
Notre
Dame.
Dame's a
Notre
good
Dame's a good
answer.
one, too.
So you have a take on say your take on Notre Dame, because that could be.
I think Notre Dame has a chance to be a national title contender next year. I think Notre Dame was missing dynamic quarterback play this year, and Sam Hartman is going from the ACC to big-time games. They also host Ohio State early. Ohio State is replacing their quarterback for the first time in a couple of years. I think Notre Dame could absolutely be a playoff team next year because of they had elements of a great team this year. Just never quite came together because the offense wasn't good enough. But their defense was up there. Their defensive talent's still really good. I think Sam Hartman and Notre Dame are the perfect marriage.
And Marcus Freeman has a full year of being a head coach in his back pocket. Now it's not just how is he going to pan out as being the guy in charge? He converted to Catholicism. He's got a full year. Keep it rolling.
What's more likely? Alabama back in the playoff mix or Alabama back in the playoffs or Michigan in their third straight playoff?
Michigan in their third straight playoff.
I don't think you can ever
I think it's Alabama.
go
Yeah.
very far without Alabama making the playoff.
I think it's very, very close. The only reason I say Michigan is because what we talked about earlier with everything that they have coming back and Harbaugh staying, it's 1A and 1B. I mean, Alabama.
I don't know how good Michigan was this year.
No, I think they're pretty good.
They're pretty
Yeah.
good.
Okay, pretty good.
They're pretty good.
They
There's
might have gotten high on their laurels.
there's a combination of the Big Ten being kind of ass behind them outside of Ohio State, them winning their one big game against Ohio State, and that's
Killing
good.
them.
Ohio State
They
should
didn't
have
really
beat
kill them.
Georgia.
They
They
didn't kill.
killed them.
Michigan did not kill Ohio State. I want to stop that narrative right now. Michigan did not kill Ohio
They
State.
beat him by 21 points.
They beat them by 23 points or 22 points, but they did not kill Ohio State. That was a 7-point game in the fourth quarter, and it just got away from Ohio State. But they didn't kill them. That was a close game that looked like a blowout.
Ohio State was favored by 10.
Doesn't matter what they were favored by. That doesn't matter.
That would help your point, though. Because, if the market that is amazing at grading these teams viewed them as they closed around 7.5, 8-point favorites.
I thought they were 9.5.
That shows that Ohio State was
I just don't know how good Michigan was. Michigan had the one great half against Ohio State and then absolutely laid a fucking egg against TCU. They laid a fucking egg before Ohio State against Illinois. We're judging Michigan really off one half. And
they went undefeated.
they did. It's just, again, I don't know that it was that hard for an elite roster to go undefeated in the Big Ten this year.
But also, when Michigan was figuring out against TCU, you did tweet out they're a damn good football team. Did you back off of that?
I think I misread them.
Okay, that's fair.
I think I
misread teams.
I think I was misreading based on what they did to Ohio State. I was like, well,
that's true.
And then I saw them against TCU. The thing is, next year, Michigan still plays a dog shit non-conference schedule like cowards.
Yes.
They got to go to Penn State this time, and I think that's going to be the biggest game in the Big Ten next year to really set who goes forward and matches Ohio State for.
I do think that Michigan returning helps a lot because if they know everybody that's coming back, and as we've talked about, the Big Ten does have a massive fall off after those three teams. I think Wisconsin will be in the mix. I think Luke Fickell is going to make them very good pretty quickly. I do think Matt Rule will have some impact at Nebraska too. However, with Alabama, you can never count Nick Saban out of the playoff ever. He's still the greatest coach of all time, and I stand by, even though there were fucking morons in our comments.
If Kirby wins again next year, is he a better coach than Nick Saban in current speaking?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
But
we're not there yet.
Yeah, but there were people saying, Alabama's never technically an underdog. Well, they are not going to be favored to win the SEC. That does play into it. However, we don't know who they have.
They have a quarterback.
And they're gonna reload. They always do. We know what's coming back at Michigan.
Not hearing good things about Ty Simpson.
Really?
All right, third question, fourth question, fifth question, maybe. I don't know what number question it is. Okay, just relax.
Mac Jones was that too.
Which team?
A lot of them are.
Which team will look the
I
most? You mind if I ask a question?
Series of Alabama issues.
Which team is going to look the most different in 2023? I'm not saying better or worse. I'm saying who will look the most different from what they were this year.
All right, go.
It's an
I
easy
think
answer to me.
Wisconsin.
It is Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
I was gonna say TCU.
TCU's an answer.
That's a
Alabama's
chalk
an answer,
answer, I
too.
feel.
Without Bryce Young, without Will Anderson, Alabama's going to have new faces in a lot of new places. But Wisconsin might be changing the entire fabric of their
And
program.
they got Longo.
They got Longo. They're going to spread it out. They brought in
Mordecai.
three transfer quarterbacks led by Mordecai from SMU. They brought in transfer receivers from everywhere. They're legitimately going to change the entire DNA of their program in one offseason.
Just like I just said with Luke Fickle, I agree with that. I don't know if this is just a biased answer. I think Colorado can be thrown into that too.
100% Colorado.
I mean, Colorado, even
if they're not
We
good,
coming.
they're going to be different.
Right,
We
they're
coming.
they're going to be very different. The perception is very different.
I
Like,
thought that
We
video
have a
was
new-
goofy as fuck.
We have
It
a new
was.
cult on our hands
What?
in Colorado. The Tim Brando.
the Colts.
That. Yeah, there's
What's
a
she
new
saying? It's a
cult
new
of
cult.
Colorado. He's like,
No, I think
"Hey,
that's
we come in, you
Yeah.
stand up, sit
Tim
down."
Brewster.
Brewster, excuse
Tim
me.
Brewster. Yeah.
Not Brando.
Tim Brando is a enemy of Ben Mintz. They're both from Monroe,
Yeah.
and Tim Brando was never very nice to Ben Mintz.
Oh, well, I'm a big Brando fan then. And last question. We saw Tennessee do it this year.
So we're only doing 4 questions?
I think I've already asked. I asked 1. I asked 2. I asked 3. I asked.
He's lost count.
I don't know where we're at.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Last question. Who is the next blue blood to be back?
So Tennessee's
Okay.
back?
Hold-
I think
hold-
they're back-ish.
that's where I was about to do my caveat.
How are they not back?
What
I
it,
think
what
they were
is
back.
what's back?
I mean, they dominated college football for much
Yeah.
of this year.
No, I
they,
know.
they were number one
Tennessee-
team in the country. I think they were back this year.
It will be Texas.
All right. Well,
For real Texas.
I think it's Florida State, but I think it's a stretch to call Florida State a blue blood. But they're at least they're a powerhouse. How about that?
Okay, so in this same vein, which I know it's not on this show that we've argued it on the college football show, but you think Michigan is back?
Oh yeah.
So
Well, they came back last year.
Yeah,
right.
they're back.
So the version of being back. So I'm saying the reason I'm asking is like for Texas, I think in order to Texas
To matter at the top of the sport.
to matter at the top of the sport is make the playoff or be in contention for the playoff.
in contention for the playoff.
I think Texas could absolutely be that next team.
Big 12's so interesting next year. I was just thinking about it. I mean,
Who's going to be good?
because like is Oklahoma? I think Oklahoma's chance to even just. If you told me Oklahoma goes back to being Oklahoma next year, I believe you.
If I-
Texas, it's like what's going on?
But what
Baylor.
if I told you Oklahoma was 11-1 next year? You wouldn't bat an eye. If I told you they went 7-5, I don't think you'd bat an eye either.
No, I'm high. I'm bullish on Oklahoma, but I am with you. They have a big. Texas is like, hey, if they don't figure it out next year, Sark's a failure.
Also, you have
Yes.
what? BYU, UCF, Houston,
Oh
Cincinnati.
yeah, they're in the
That's
conference.
this year, right?
Yeah.
I think.
Yes. Yeah.
BYU
I forgot about
will
that.
fuck
And
up some people's
Cincinnati,
season.
obviously they have a new coach, but they're still be around. BYU will be difficult for these guys.
And Texas and OU are on their way out, so it's like what do they do in their last year?
Do you think the Big 12 has the nuts to just give them shitty officiating every week?
Well, you remember
the
that
SEC
Oklahoma
would-
State game?
SEC would do that to teams. If Florida were leaving to go to the SEC would absolutely give them the shittiest whistle ever.
If it was a different conference, I would say yes. I feel like the Big 12 doesn't know what to do with itself without OU and Texas being happy.
Well, they're gonna be happy somewhere else. So.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but it's like I almost feel like
gonna be
they're
so-
gonna
So we're-
try to like kiss up to him.
So our husband's leaving, and he's going to live with his girlfriend, and we're going to make him a nice dinner on the way out.
There are a lot of women that would do that.
Mm.
You know, you don't want to end on bad terms. I would be making sure every single call went every which way other than theirs.
All right. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Nope.
Jack just made a heart with his hands.
Don't ever do that again.
DeMar Hamlin.
I do want, after this is over, Jack, I need to hear your theory on the Idaho murders, though.
I don't really have a theory. It's
Good
just
God.
very interesting.
I'm going to end the show now because I don't want to hear any of that.
I wasn't going to do it on
Well, how's the playoff run doing?
We'll playoff run.
Dolphins?
That's fucked. They had a
That's
third
fucked
string
up. Why
quarterback.
don't
What
you
the
do that?
That
fuck?
was fucked up.
Oh,
The
she's
Dolphins.
the Bills. Nah,
I
she's
played
the Bills.
the
She's
Dolphins.
Bills
You
girl.
got lucky. You get Tua play. We'd have beat the shit out of the Bills.
It was such a gross game.
It was so gross.
I told you,
It wasn't a
Brandon.
gross game. It was actually a good game. It was a
For
fun
us,
game.
For her. She was
Oh yeah.
sad.
Well, you guys aren't that good.
Oh, watch. We weren't playing well. I almost wore my Dawson Knox jersey today for this
that's
episode.
what I want you to do. I want you to wear a Bills jersey who played at Ole Miss. Wear that shit. Wear that shit on this fucking show.
He did go.
Oh, you're going to disrespect Dawson Knox after the year he had?
Yeah, I sure am.
He was a dirty ass player at Ole Miss. Remember that game he got
was an
kicked out?
asshole.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
an
God.
asshole. He was a targeted motherfucker.
He's had a rough year.
R.I.P. to his brother.
My name is
but-
Brandon Walker, and this has
Also-
been my show.
And also, just if people are listening to this that don't tune into the Pro Football Show, Brandon is making another
Yes, watch that.
appearance on it.
I am.
Which this is your fourth this year?
Yeah, and I kind of nailed this one.
I know.
Kind
Cowboys.
of nailed this one. I was like, the Ravens might beat the
Cowboys.
Bengals. I was like, the Cowboys are going to win.
No.
Jags are going to win.
No, yeah.
I know. I think that's why you're invited back, right?
And plus, the Niners are playing the Cowboys this week.
By the way, the Chargers fans, the Herbert cult,
Yeah.
they're just college football fans that don't have a college football team.
I've never seen anything like it.
No, because you've only seen that in college football. The Herbert stands.
They are crazy people.
I saw
They're
your tweet.
weird.
People got mad at me for my response to you. I was like, guys, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Just there's college football's not as big on the West Coast.
All right, I'm going to get out of here. That's unnecessary roughness.